Welcome to wesleygospel.com. Today I'm going to talk about the psychology of cultism, what a cult leader is, and how you can avoid groups like this. Sometimes people get pulled into these things by accident, and since they don't know what to look for, um, they end up getting, well, I end up getting quite miserable as a result of staying in it. Cultism, or the characteristics of cultism, center around the leader. Okay. If you're trying to say that's a cult, this is a cult, that's a cult, you have to look at the leader. It is a group, church, and I would have to say company, church or family, a business, church, or family that operates under the leadership of a tyrant. That's basically what it boils down to in a sociological sense. Okay. If we were to strictly confine this to a theological sense in the world of apologetics, then a cult would be any heretical group that holds to heretical views of Christianity. Um, but in the world of sociology, cultism is usually defined in more broader terms, and it's usually defined in terms of having a tyrannical leader at the top of the group, no matter how big the group is. The group could be as small as 5 people in a house somewhere, or not even that. They could just be a group of small people that live in separate places but meet together occasionally. Uh, or it could be a large organization that, has many locations with thousands of people in it. But the biggest aspect about the cult is that is held in common by all these groups with various different beliefs is not the beliefs. The beliefs do not determine what sociologists label a cult. There are so many different beliefs out there that it would be easy to separate all of them and say they have nothing in common with one another. So it is not really the beliefs, it is the behavior of the leader, the top guy, that determines if something is to be labeled a cult by a sociologist. I found a really good um, article by verywellmind.com, and it was peer reviewed by a licensed social worker. It's called "What is a Cult? 10 Warning Signs." How to recognize a cult. Cults are characterized by 1, absolute authoritarianism without accountability. 2, zero tolerance for criticism or questions. 3, lack of meaningful financial disclosure regarding budget. 4, unreasonable fears about the outside world that often involve evil conspiracies and persecutions. 5, a belief that former followers are always wrong for leaving, and there is never a legitimate reason for anyone else to leave. 6, abusive members. 7, records, books, articles, or programs documenting the abuses of the leader or the group. 8, followers feeling they are never able to be good enough. 9, a belief that the leader is right at all times. And 10, a belief that the leader is the exclusive means of knowing truth or giving validation. I have been in churches where pastors are like this. I have been in companies where the CEO is like this. I have seen families that run this way. And the error is always with the papa, the pastor, or the CEO. There's a male tyrant at the top who has zero tolerance for criticisms, other points of view, or questions regarding errors that are going on. Um, and there are unreasonable fears about the outside world, about other churches, about other businesses, about other families, there is a sense that if somebody leaves the church, leaves the company, or leaves the family, that those people who leave are always wrong for leaving, no matter what. Um, and while people are in the church, the company, or the family, people are mistreated. There is maltreatment, there is mistreatment of people, of church members, of family members, of employees. There are external sources on the internet somewhere available where this church, this company, or this family have been written up in some way, shape, or form, whether criminal backgrounds, whatever you want to call it, write-ups, expose articles. Now, those things are not always true, but I mean, the fact that they exist could be just an indicator when gathered together with other signs. Um, this one's really key. The belief that the leader is right at all times. Dad is always right. The CEO is always right. The pastor is always right at all times. All times. Now, if they're not right, then the family might fall apart. The company might fall apart. The um, the church might fall apart. So it's important that the leader be right, because if he's not right, his authority might be questioned, right? And then people might want to leave and find somebody who's more right than him, right? But I mean, that's how the thinking goes. The reality is, though, is that um, what's more important than being right about every little idea and every little plan is that there is a sense of love coming from the leader. That is way more important. That the pastor loves his church members, that the father loves his family members, that the CEO loves his employees. Like Fezziwig loved his employees in the Vision, in A Christmas Carol. So uh, if this is a mistreating leader, um, then he is wrong at all times. No matter what his ideas are, no matter what plans he has, if he is mistreating and abusing members in his group, then he is wrong at all times. So it's important that mistreatment is not allowed to continue in the group. And if people don't know what mistreatment is, they don't have a soul. And everybody does, of course. Everybody knows when they're mistreated because their gut will tell them this is wrong. I'm being mistreated. This is hurtful. Something is wrong here. My gut is telling me this is wrong. But if you can't voice that and you just get shot down every time you do, that's a cult-like leader you got there. Everybody else in the group might be nice, but in order to determine if this group is a cult, you have to really see, well, what's the guy at the top like? Is the guy at the top honestly abusing people and mistreating people with his words and with his actions? Is he mistreating people in this family, this church, or this business constantly on a regular basis? If he is not right. He is not right in what he's doing. His whole approach is wrong. And although he might have some ideas that appear to be correct at times, most likely he's some type of a emotionless automaton, maybe even under the control of the devil at times. Unfeeling, unhuman, and without compassion. So this type of person is to be avoided. He uh, might have a mechanical, sort of a Terminator, sort of a machine type of attitude. He might have a mocking attitude, um, like some sort of a bully, or he might view himself as almost like a gang leader in a sense. Um, so these people have unhealthy conceptions of leadership. They do not view themselves as Christian fathers with wholesome family values that abide by the golden rule at all times. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. No, they do not. And if they claim to have belief in the Bible, it's not concrete enough to where the golden rule comes up front and center, and is and it you know and so people are abused, people are mistreated, people are shut down. It's not a relaxing environment. In fact, everybody feels anxious about their membership there. They feel anxious. They feel uncertain. It's just an unhealthy environment to be a part of, and constantly people are asking themselves, should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go? I don't know. Is there something else better out there for me? Um, but I'm not sure because it appears that I'm being lied to. It seems that this is a raw deal, but at the same time, there's some aspects about it that want me to stay. And so you're confused all the time. You're emotionally confused. You want to run, but you want to stay. There's a fight or flight reaction, but you never give in to flight. You always stay. And there's something weird going on there, and you feel disconnected from yourself. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good inside. Communication breaks down between you and others. Things are There's not good communication. There's no response. The people just shut down. Um, and because they're all looking to the leader for what to say next or what to think next. So this is not an environment where open and free communication can happen among members. It looks like it's this environment where people can be free and independent and autonomous, but it's not. There is no independence. There's no freedom. There's no autonomy. Everybody's looking to the leader for the next step. Well, what are we supposed to do next? What are we supposed to do? What comes next after this? What comes next after this point? And such is the nature of a tyrant. Nobody really is able to think for themselves. What's the next? What's the next Führer, right? Um, it's an exaggerated. People who have an exaggerated understanding, authoritarian understanding of submission to authority. Usually people from military or police backgrounds or government backgrounds have this. We have exaggerated views of authority where it's to the point where people aren't even able to communicate anymore without having the leader tell them what to think and say. There's so much fear and control going on that people aren't able to be people anymore. They lose their individuality. They lose their independence. They lose that independent spirit, and they're not able to be who God made them to be. They're not carefree. They're worried. They're always seeking approval from the top. They identify with someone outside of themselves. God bless you out there. Think it through. God bless you out there. The Bible says that we should test all things and hold fast to what is good. God bless you out there. This is John with wesleygospel.com.